The scene shifts back to Houston, Texas for Game 6 of the World Series. Phillies took an advantage in this series early on in Philadelphia, but the Astros have won the last two and now on the verge of clinching a World Championship. Welcome inside and back to Texas with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. I'm Joe Davis. Here in Game 6, we've got a Game 2 rematch. A great pitching matchup. Zach Wheeler for the Phillies, Framber Valdez for the Astros.
Yeah, we do, and Valdez dominated that first matchup, and I wouldn't expect him to change at all when you think about the success he had. Wheeler, on the other hand, was shocked early. 2 runs and 4 pitches. Look for him to redeem himself. It will be a short leash for Wheeler. But the key's going to be, I think, for the Phillies to advance this to a Game 7, they've got to get something out of 2 and 3. Put some runners on in front of Harper. The 2 and 3 hitters have really struggled. Look for Real Muto to kind of emerge, even though he's caught every game, to be a little bit better offensively.
There is some breaking news in the middle of this World Series, and it affects the Houston lineup. For that, here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Big loss for the Astros. Yuli Gurriel out with that knee injury he suffered in Game 5. Gurriel was batting a team-high .347 in the playoffs with just 1 strikeout. It was by far his best month of the season, and Dusty Baker said Gurriel had tears in his eyes when he realized he couldn't play. The Astros are replacing him at first base with Trey Mancini, who was 0 for 18 in the postseason, and they've added a third catcher to their roster, Corey Lee. The addition of Lee protects them if, for some reason, they replace their DH in this game. That's Christian Vasquez. Martin Maldonado also in their lineup, so they're going with both their top catchers. Joe?
As they go for the World Series, and what a ride it's been to get to this point. Welcome to the World Series. Real Muto, it's gone. Phillies take Game 1.
Valdez up point.
Cool and calm.
Valdez gave them exactly what they needed.
It was all Phils tonight.
Lightning strikes.
Big night for the Phillies.
The Astros have a World Series no-hitter.
Justin Verlander gets off the side.
In a thriller, 3-2 the final score. And 3-2 is the series as it goes back to Houston. Wow! Out of here! Punch, counter punch.
Hey, big time. You, and you. What you playing for tonight? A gold-plated trophy? The bling of a ring? Your place in the game? A plaque in the hall? So they'll recall what you were, what you are. Big time. Yeah, you. Chew on this, big time. You've seen it all. Big hit. No hit. A glove to make him gasp. The roar you hear is real. On their feet for you. You gotta be cool, calm, phenomenal. You have before, or you wouldn't be here. You got a shot to win it all.
Lightning strikes, unbelievable!
It's on you, big time. Game 6, the World Series on Fox.
Welcome to the 2022 World Series on Fox, presented by Capital One. Game 6 about to begin. We go to the field with Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Joe. Game 6. 2 words that capture the patience, perseverance, and heartbreak of Dusty Baker. In 2002, his Giants had a 5-0 lead in the 7th inning, ready to capture the World Series, and lost. The next year, his Cubs, trying to win the NL pennant, had a 3-0 lead in the 8th inning, and lost. Last year, his Astros, against the Braves in the World Series, eliminated. Dusty Baker is a man of faith. He's an avid fisherman, a music enthusiast, but has been defined too much by what's missing. No man has managed more games without winning the World Series. Tonight, his 25-year journey brings him back to a Game 6. A chance to change history, a chance to make history. Joe.
Tommy mentioned he's a big fisherman, and he said, you trying to get that fish into the boat, those are the toughest moments. Taking the last breath out of anybody is so tough. And so he knows the job is far from finished. But he feels like he's got the right man for the job. Framber Valdez, who started game 2, on the mound here for game 6. And what a difference a year makes for the youngster. 2 games in the World Series last year, he said the emotions got the best of him. He failed to make it through the 3rd inning in either of those starts against Atlanta. But then game 2 of the World Series against the Phillies, pitched into the 7th inning and dominated that game, just the 1 run. He's faced them twice over the last month. And John, he's struck out 19 over 11+ innings.
Yeah, this guy's turning into a bulldog, and he has a tremendous sinker, a lot of ground balls, but he has great balance, and really he's learned to have a great heartbeat on the mound. And if you're a game watcher or film watcher, you're going to want to do the same thing he did against the Phillies to have that success. Don't change a thing.
Lineup that'll face off with here in game 6 will look like this, with Kyle Schwarber to lead it off, and then Hoskins and Real Muto, Harper, Castellanos, and Bohm. Gene Segura is the 7-hitter and second baseman, and with the lefty on the mound, they do go with Vierling and Sosa instead of Marsh and Stott.
The interesting thing is his last game we were talking about, it was his highest velocity he's had all year, so that RPM was revved up. Now you can imagine in a game 6, this is where it starts getting, the reality starts getting close to. You cannot think about that if you're a game 6 starter up 3-2. Hard not to, especially when you know team is one way away from winning a World Series.
And you've been on both sides of this, both facing elimination and with a chance to clinch. What's the difference emotionally?
Well, emotionally, when you're having an elimination game like, let's say, Wheeler, your room for error is low, your leash is quick, and you just want to pass the baton on to the guy waiting for game 7. If you're Valdez, this is when you get selfish and say, I don't want anyone else to pitch after this game, and you take it in your own hands.
Well, that's the deepest any pitcher had gone in a World Series game in 3 years when he took it in game 2. Going 6 1/3, and he faces Kyle Schwarber to get game 6 started.
And normally I'd say see how the game's going if you're Kyle Schwarber, but the way that he was pitched to last time, got a lot of fastballs early. I would say, like he did against Verlander, it was the second pitch, but Schwarber should be ready to hit a fastball in this at bat early in the first 2 pitches.
Astros 1 win away from their 2nd World Series in 6 years. The Phillies trying to force game 7. And the man that started game 5 with a home run stands in. Valdez rocks and fires, and off we go with ball 1. And immediately, John, you see the home plate umpire Lance Barksdale not giving Framber Valdez a low strike, a pitch that he needs, and Barksdale typically does not give pitchers many low strikes.
Right, and what Valdez is going to have to do is just keep the pressure on low in the zone.
That's popped back into play, 1-1.
Well, this is what he did last time. He faced him leading off the game, and he attacked him with some fastballs. And then later in the game, he's going to mix it up. But he pitches off the extreme, extreme third base side of the rubber. His toe is barely touching that rubber when he's getting. That's what the angle he wants to create for the movement. I mean, that's the bare minimum right there. That shows you the balance he has.
28-year-old delivers a 1-1 pitch. That's taken low. A check swing, but he went around, and it's 1-2.
A lot of movement, but maybe the barrel stayed behind the plate.
On a 1-2 pitch, Schwarber takes. Oh, he was headed back to the dugout thinking it was strike 3. I think everybody thought it was strike 3 besides the one guy whose opinion matters, Lance Barksdale.
Wow. I mean, this is a 2-step, not a song. This is not a song, but he's like, okay, all right. He better swing, I think, on this next pitch if it's close.
All right, so a gift for Schwarber. Can he take advantage? On 2-2. That's ball 3. And that is the first curveball from Framber Valdez. Only 12 of the 42 curveballs he threw in game 2 were in the strike zone, but the Phillies chased half of them.
Yeah, they did, and that's how good it is, and that just speaks to him, and he's got to shake that off. He can't let this affect him.
Here's his payoff. And he winds up walking Schwarber. So perhaps a key call in the first plate appearance of the game, and instead of a strikeout, it's a walk.
Well, and I know a pitcher is going to get frustrated because your mind knows that's a strike and you've put it to bed already. And he wasn't able to really. He made some good pitches. All right, now that's strike 3, but you got to make a couple good ones. He let that one out of the zone, and then this one inside. But you cannot let this snowball into a big inning. And this is where experience will pay off of having gone through certain things before.
And that is where Framber Valdez says the biggest growth has been his ability to move on from things that don't go his way. He immediately deuces a bouncing ball to get the out at second, and they turn 2. Framber Valdez needs just one pitch to erase it.
And it was a good pitch because you knew that Hoskins wanted to get something going. He has been really struggling at the plate, and he throws him a good sinker, and all he can do with a good sinker is bounce it to a defense that's outstanding, and that's an outstanding double play.
They've been tracking ground ball rates for 35 years. Framber Valdez has the highest ground ball rate for a starting pitcher since they've been tracking those things. The Phillies in game 2 only hit 3 balls in the air. And so a lineup that's relied on home runs for a lot of the season, they're facing the guy that limits them better than anybody in the sport.
Yeah. Well, this last at bat that JT had in his last game, they're hoping that that translates into a more typical at bat.
Well, you were talking about it. He needs to go the other way, and he did, and almost helped him come back in that game.
That click of the bat, sometimes the sound, the feeling can get a hitter going, but it's the approach that'll get him going, and that last at bat was really good.
And the issues you're talking about, Real Muto's 1 for his last 17 with 11 Ks.
And again, we talked till, I mean, this guy, you got to believe that catching every game and just the battle he's been through has affected him a little bit offensively. Something has to give.
He was the hero in game 1 here. Tied the game with a double, won it with a homer. On a 1-1 from Framber Valdez, Real Muto shoots it down the line, foul, 1-2. 97 from Valdez.
Yeah, again, this will be the game that he has extra day rest, right? I mean, he's ready to go. His sinker's good. The touch is there. He passed the first test of a tough at bat to lead off the game, got a double play ball, but he is juiced up, no doubt.
Home of the 1-2.
The reason we talked about in the open of why it's so important for 2 and 3 of the Phillies, because they got to get on for that guy. There hasn't been a lot of action for him, and the Astros have pitched him perfectly, but the reason they can do that is nobody on in front of them for the most part.
The Phillies had 7 runs in game 3, the game where they tied a World Series record, hitting 5 homers, but just 2 runs in 2 games since. On a 2-2 pitch, Real Muto takes ball 3, and actually that hit him, and he's on. And so they do get somebody on in front of Bryce Harper.
Well, this will be interesting with 2 outs. They faced each other obviously in game 2, and you see the curveball that catches the top of his foot. When he faced Harper, he threw him a lot of fastballs early and got him out with curveballs late. So will Bryce be ready for a fastball on this first pitch, if that's the same game plan?
He's hitting .373 this postseason. The only game during this postseason when Harper didn't reach base was the one against Valdez. First pitch. Got a fastball. Grounded it right side. Sliding play, Jeremy Pena. What a postseason run this kid's having. Scoreless top of the first from Framber Valdez. Astros come to bat when you come back. off at the top. Yuli Gurriel is not in the game. He injured his knee in Game 5, so Trey Mancini starts at first base. Christian Vasquez catches. It's the first time all year the Dusty Baker has sent this lineup out there, and he does so with the Astros looking to clinch a world championship against the guy they saw in Game 2 in Zach Wheeler. This guy, John, was overpowering, and a big part of the reason the Phillies made it to the World Series. But in his World Series debut, wasn't the same.
Yeah, he wasn't the same. He had ran into a little bit of tough luck, too, when you talk about ambush early. And that really set the stage for the game, and he never really was able to recover, and his team didn't really score. So look for him to make some adjustments early. He went fastball in to Altuve. I would not throw a first pitch fastball in, that's for sure.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to start.
Yeah.
And you're going to be taking a look at the velocity. 97-98 is where Zach Wheeler wants to be. He was at a season low 95 in Game 2. And here's the guy you were talking about that was the first to ambush. Altuve doubled on the first pitch of the game and came in to score one pitch later. Ball one at 98.
Extra day rest and his ability to look at film and see his mechanical adjustments he needs to make.
Jose Altuve hitting .346 over his last 5 games. Watches the strike, 99, and it's 1-1. And Altuve to you looks like he's back to being himself.
Yeah, he's hit some mistakes, which has gotten him going. But if you stay outside, you got to make him still beat you to right field. If you're any pitcher in the game today, make him beat you to right field.
1-2, nice looking breaker.
I would think the breaking ball comes out a little earlier than normal for Wheeler. He likes to put that in his back pocket and show it later. But right now he's pitching every inning as if it's his last inning because they're in an elimination game. And he knows it and wants to go as deep as he can without his manager taking him out.
Home of the 1-2 pitch. Fastball at 98 and a good sign for Wheeler and the Phillies with that fastball up in the high 90s again. So one gone in this first inning. Here comes a splendid rookie, Jeremy Pena, who continued his fantastic World Series with a nice defensive play to finish the top of the inning.
I mean, that's a great play. If Altuve has to make that, he's not going to throw out Harper, and his short hop right in the grass. No big deal. Makes the play and got his team to the plate.
Coming off a 3-hit game in Game 5. Where he hit his 4th home run of the postseason. He's hitting .381 in the World Series. And he's making a push to become the first rookie position player ever to win World Series MVP.
He's having a fantastic adjustment. I call it in-bat adjustment, meaning look bad for 2 pitches and then with 2 strikes, slow everything down.
Bounces this one to short. Edmundo Sosa. 2 out.
Well, we're going to see 2 pitchers that pitch differently in the sense of not only their repertoire, but where they stand on the rubber. We talked about Valdez, farthest part of the third base rubber. Well, you've got Wheeler on the first base side of the rubber. But here's the difference. They're going to land close to each other because Wheeler throws across his body, which creates that extra spin and hop to the hitter. So even though Valdez pitches over there, they get close to where they land on opposite sides of the rubber.
Across his body and Anya with that 6'5" frame.
We talked about how he goes downhill, and so far the fastball is not skipping a beat, that's for sure.
Couple big dudes facing off here. Yordan Alvarez with the bases empty and 2 gone. Swats the first one left center field, slicing to Kyle Schwarber. He's got it. And on 7 pitches, Zach Wheeler with a 1-2-3 first. Dell Technologies will stop at nothing to bring out the innovator in all. And by Capital One, what's in your wallet? Well, Game 6 has been a special one in the World Series. 1975, Carlton Fisk in the bottom of the 12th, willing his ball fair. One of the iconic home runs in World Series history. Second inning, no score. Nick Castellanos leads off against Framber Valdez. Used a double play ball to get around a leadoff walk in the first inning, and he's in the dirt with a curve to Castellanos.
Well, so far it's been a decent approach by the Phillies, meaning Valdez has thrown now 5 curveballs, none for strikes.
Rarely do you get back-to-back takes from this guy. Yeah, that remains the case. And so when you see those numbers, John, that he rarely is in the zone with his curveball, it feels like the plan, and it's easier in principle than it is in practice, but it should be don't swing when you see spin.
Yeah, but you're right. But the beauty of his curveball, it's in the zone a long time, even though it ends up out of the zone. It'd be one thing if he spiked a lot of them and they just were so aggressive swingers.
3 straight curves, 1 and 2, and the last 2 have been in the strike zone.
He just has such great feel, and the way that he throws, you know, he's a short striding, kind of over the top. Great feel for pitching, and he just puts the hitter in a defensive spot because there's nothing mediocre about his pitches that you could sit on.
Home of the 1-2. It's 4 straight curves. Castellanos bounces that one just foul, and he was going to reach had that been fair.
That's about as close of a last-second call you can make for the third base umpire to see this ball last second. It's got hook spins, fair right now, fair right now, fair, and then foul right before the bag. Good call. Whew, that's close.
Man. Dan Iasonia with conviction.
Yeah, and you're getting blocked out by Bregman, so great call there. Really, it's been a great postseason for the most part. Nothing really, the umpires are all doing their job. It's a tough job. Nothing really super confrontational.
Another 1-2 pitch. A fastball, and he gets the call down there at the bottom of the zone. 1 gone in the second on his first K. Let's take a look at the Astros defense here for Game 6. How about the play Chas McCormick made in Game 5 in Philadelphia, flanked by Alvarez and Tucker. Bregman and Pena left side of the infield with Altuve and Mancini. For Trey Mancini, his first start at first base since October 5th. He hadn't played first base period since October 5th when he came off of the bench for Gurriel in Game 5 and made that great play to keep the Astros in front. 1 away, Alec Bohm. Line drive base hit. First hit of the game for the Phillies. And it comes from Alec Bohm with 1 away in the second.
Well, he got a fastball and it was down, and he went down with it right up the middle, and that's the approach you got to have. Easier said than done when you come up with game plans on paper, executing them totally different thing.
A man aboard for Gene Segura, who takes a strike, and the Phillies are hoping that his 2-hit performance in Game 5 is a sign of things to come. He was 1 for his previous 17. He'd been struggling against fastballs, got both those hits in Game 5 against Heaters. Oh. 1-1. Good stop, Maldonado. The Astros a win away from the second World Series with the recent cautionary tale of 2019 when they were in the same position. Came back home with a 3-2 lead over the Nationals, and the Nats took Game 6 and 7. One and 2. And the Phillies really have built their whole identity on coming back within the season, from 8 games below 500 to reach the postseason. Within games, I mean, this postseason's dotted with comebacks. Most recently, Game 1 of the World Series from down 5-0. And now within a series, down 3-2, facing elimination. Gonna fight, and Phils do it one more time. Valdez to Segura with a 1-2. It's a late swing to send that one foul. All right, talking about this umpiring crew, it's done a nice job in this World Series. Lance Barksdale gets home plate today with crew chief Dan Iasonia now down at third. Bottom of the Phillies order trying to get it done here. Runner at first, one gone, 1-2 pitch. Segura fouls off a curve.
Segura, as we talked about, is just so short and quick to the ball. Doesn't look like it's something you would teach most hitters, but man, does he get it done, and he can find the barrel and get a lot of base hits.
In a lot of ways, he's kind of embodied these Phillies this year. Flawed, but fun, and more, and you add it all up, the good outweighs the bad when it comes to Gene Segura and with this Phil's team this year. It's a guy that's been traded 4 times. Finally found himself on a postseason team here in his 11th year. Home at first, one gone, no score, second inning. A 1-2 pitch again, and it's in the dirt for ball 2.
That side of the plate really pulling his breaking ball, and we've seen already hit batsmen on the foot, and we've seen a lot of them missed in that area. He also has the capability of backdooring that pitch when he's completely connected to it, and of course he can throw that slider, a little firmer pitch, if he feels like they're laying off the big breaker.
He has loved that big breaker, that curveball this postseason. More than 40% of his pitches have been the curve. Here's another 2-2. It is strike 3 as the curveball falls from the heavens to get Segura.
That's exactly what I was talking about, the backdoor variety. Even though that caught the middle of the plate, it started out and up. And when it comes out of your hand right there, the hitter's saying that's a ball. There's no way that's coming back down. Too late to pull the trigger. And he can get those calls when he's spinning it and not spiking it. He's going to get a lot of strikes and strikeouts.
More strikeouts on that curveball than any curveball in baseball this year. 2 out, second inning. Matt Vierling. Playing time in the postseason has been hard to come by. He starts against left-handed pitchers. He's gone 2 for 12. 1-0. Vierling, 26 years old, out of St. Louis. Debuted late last season, performed well. This is his first full year in the major leagues and really got it going down the stretch. On a 1-0 from Valdez. Vierling takes ball 2. Home at first, 2-0 to the plate. Low for ball 3. From Valdez, who has started 3 games this postseason. The Astros have won all 3. At a 1.42 ERA. Very few moments where he's been at all out of sync. Left-hander in his 5th year has gotten better and better, and he misses ball 4. 4-pitch walk to the 8-hitter Vierling. Second walk issued by Valdez. Well, it's been an incredible series, and you still have a chance to win 25 grand of Big Papi's money tonight. All you need to do is pull out your phone, get the free Super 6 app now, and then enter your 6 picks for tonight's game. Bell puts him at first and second for the Phillies, and John, they throughout this postseason run have been really good with runners in scoring position until lately, where they've gone 1 for their last 23.
Yeah, they've hit a dry spot at the wrong time, and Valdez facing Sosa the last time threw him a ton of breaking balls. I mean, almost every pitch, with the exception of 3, were curveballs. So see if he stays with that same plan. Sosa, bigger, longer swing. And if he gets a curveball up in the zone, that's the one he can do the damage.
Bowman second, Vierling in first. Only the 4th start of the postseason for Edmundo Sosa. Got Got a first pitch fastball and fouled it off. Now, there was some thought early on in this World Series that against a lefty, against Valdez, Bryson Stott was going to play. But since then, Stott's gone 0 for 13 during the World Series, and so Rob Thompson does what he's done the rest of the postseason, and that is go for the platoon advantage here. 0-1. A breaking ball is golfed to left center field. Alvarez back onto the track at the wall. He's got it. The park just large enough to hold it. Sky-scraping drive from Edmundo Sosa. It falls harmlessly into the glove of Alvarez. Middle 2 in Game 6. No score. Edmundo Sosa's thinking, man, if I steer that one about 15 feet to the left, I got a bomb in the World Series. But instead, it stays 0-0. And Alex Bregman leads off against Zach Wheeler, who continues where he was at in the first inning with that fastball up 98-99.
Yeah, good fast four-seam life. He's gone into Bregman a few times in the previous meetings.
Goes in here. Bounce to Sosa. And he's retired the first 4.
Well, Sosa got the curveball that I was talking about, and it looked like for a minute this collective crowd held their breath as the big left fielder put the ball in his glove, and that was close to a huge moment in this game. He's watching his play right now.
Yes, yeah. Got back there pretty calmly, looking pretty smooth, wasn't I? The one gone in the second inning. Kyle Tucker.
This is the guy, if I'm Wheeler, throughout the game, I don't mess with runners on. I mean, this is the guy you got to pitch around in the lineup.
Oh, he shows bunt and pops it back out of play.
The reason I'm saying that, even though Vasquez is behind him, the bottom part of this lineup right now beyond Tucker, anything you get out of them based on their performances so far would be a bonus. So an elite pitcher is going to look at that scorecard and go, okay, this is not a disrespect to them. I'm circling these guys because that's where I need to go to get outs if I get into a jam.
Tucker, who hit 2 home runs in the first game of this World Series, has struggled since. The All-Star takes inside, and it's 1-1. The Astros as a team have hit just enough, and it's kind of been what the story's been all season for them. Elite pitching and enough offense. They've scored 18 runs in the 5 games and lead the series 3-2. Perfect. 1-2.
And when he's doing that, there's not a hitter in the universe that's going to be able to hit that pitch. And you've already seen what adrenaline and knowing that this is your last start of the year will do for you. The velocity's back to where it was before.
Commanding it as well. On 1-2. This is up and away. And the other thing is he's actually throwing it because he trusted it so little in Game 2 that he threw it less than he has in his 3 years with Philly.
Right, exactly. And you just saw it one of the few times he gets underneath the ball. When you get underneath the ball, you throw an upshoot fastball that's a non-competitive pitch. You can still throw it up and stay on top of the ball.
Is 2-2. Check swing foul. Another 2-2 from Zach Wheeler. Is yanked down the line, hooking, foul.
Now Zach was trying to get that to the back foot, and that breaking ball was a little late and a little flat. And he's lucky that Tucker pulled it foul. But this breaking ball is supposed to be down. See how it rolled in the strike zone, and that long Majestic swing of Tucker hooked it foul.
So it stays 2-2 on Tucker. Zach Wheeler rocks and fires. Tried to come to the back door and missed.
He tried to throw a backdoor cutter and catch the outside part of the plate. And you see on the side of the ball, if that thing breaks a little bit more, it's got a chance to get the called strikeout.
Well, the guy you said you would circle in the lineup is really making him work. This will be the 8th pitch to Kyle Tucker. It's a 3-2, and it's a fastball that's hit foul. All these fastballs. This is who Zach Wheeler is. His identity is power pitcher. And that's what he was over the first 4 games of the postseason when he struck out 25, walked only 3. Trying to find it again when his team needs him most. 9 pitches to the first 4 hitters, his 9th to Tucker alone. It'll be a 10th.
Tucker's battling. The one thing he does is he does a lot of movement in the box for his timing. You're going to see it's almost as if he doesn't have traction with his spikes and he's trying to get traction, but he's always moving the back foot and really rocking until he gets ready to hit. You get a chance to see it a little bit. I don't got a good, no, that's not, no, wait. And then right about now he'll get ready.
He's like a horse ready to take off. On the 10th pitch, Tucker takes ball 4. Impressive stuff from Kyle Tucker, and the first base runner of the game for Houston.
Well, that was a pretty locked in at bat once he got the 2 strikes. This pitch should have been swung at, and if you're Wheeler, you're going, I just painted a slider cutter inside half, and the guy who swings a lot should have gotten it, but now we're going to work the bottom of the lineup and see if he can work through that.
And the DH today, Christian Vasquez, with Aledmus Diaz at 1 for 22 in the postseason overall. And David Hensley, not a good matchup against Zach Wheeler. We've already got Mancini in the lineup filling in for Gurriel. It's the second catcher, Vasquez, who does the DHing.
Now, the one thing Vasquez, he had a few years ago his power stroke where he hit a lot of home runs. He still got that. But he tracks the breaking ball pretty well, especially down. You would think that would be the kryptonite to a lot of right-handed hitters, but got to be careful with that breaking ball. You got to really, if you hit it well low, that means you can swing over the top when it bounces.
Tucker aboard with 1 away. First one to Vasquez. Boy, he swings at a ball that might have hit him if he didn't. That fastball, angry movement inside for strike 1.
You're not going to see too many guys foul a pitch off right here. Watch this. Could have got the belt buckle. No, it got the inside part. But I'm saying that ball almost could have hit him had he not swing. Right at him.
Wow. Get off me, ball.
Most of his strikeouts are going to be inner half, inner third. That's where he was going on the first pitch.
0-2. Christian Vasquez has only started 2 games in this postseason, but in one of them he knocked in 2. In another, he caught a no-hitter in the World Series. Looking to make the most of another start here. Tucker at first has good wheels, good base stealer.
It's got to be a high fastball.
It's a low fastball, grounded to short. 6-4-3, and a double play finishes off the second. Zach Wheeler has faced the minimum through 2 in Game 6. Now, steal a base, steal a taco is back. And by Corona Extra. Find the fine life. Live La Vida Más Fina. Game 6 in 86. It gets through Buckner. The Mets win it and win Game 7 to keep the Red Sox drought going. Kyle Schwarber to the plate, and we go to the field with Ken Rosenthal.
Well, guys, we've talked a lot about Kyle Schwarber's leadership. He and David Robertson, most postseason experience on the Phillies. They both spoke briefly to the team after Game 5, saying, guys, it's not supposed to be easy. Play our game one pitch at a time.
And this is a guy here in Schwarber County who's been in this exact situation before, of course, with the Cubs in 2016. They were down 3-1. And then eventually down 3-2 on the road for Game 6 and 7, and they went in there to Cleveland, and we all know how that went. And so passing on that experience. Walked his first time against Valdez, who has issued 2 of those and hit a batter. Schwarber takes ball 2.
There's statements you always hear in the postseason that drive me crazy because they're not as, they sound good, but they don't live up to their, we got nothing to lose, the pressure's on them, our back's against the wall, blah, blah, blah. That's BS. Any team that feels that way usually doesn't come out on top. And on the flip side, you got 2 games at home to win 1. Nah, you really have 1 game at home to win 1, because if you go to a Game 7, anything can happen. So if I'm the Phillies, that's what I'm saying. Force a Game 7, their advantage is gone. And that's why when you're up 3-2, why Dusty Baker talked about how hard it is to close teams out, for that simple reason. Because you do feel like, give us 2 games to win 1. We're good. In the regular season, yeah. But in the postseason, it's so much different.
2-1 pitch. Schwarber takes strike 2. The last time, John, that a home team lost Game 6 and then won Game 7, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
1997 Marlins against the Indians. First-year manager Rob Thompson has gotten them this far. Schwarber starts the 3rd and takes strike 3.
That almost looked like Schwarber was looking for another pitch, didn't get it in the guessing game, and just got completely froze by the pitch on the outside. Going into this inning, Valdez had not thrown any 4-seamers or changeups. Look for that to change a little bit as far as that changeup coming into play as the game plays on.
And now back into that part of the order that you've pointed out, the Phillies have to have a shot. Strike on Hoskins.
Yeah, they've got to do anything. Walk, hit batsmen like Real Muto was able to do, but this part of the lineup is supposed to be the meat, and the offense clicks through Harper.
What's up?
No swing, 1-1.
But when your 2 most reliable right-handed hitters are slumping, you just hope something gets them going. A bloop, a cracked bat, an infield hit.
1 ball, 1 strike. Rhys Hoskins takes a curve low, and the Phillies can at least take some comfort or some hope out of the idea that Rhys Hoskins' best games this postseason have come after his worst. And he's coming off an 0-for-5 game with 4 strikeouts, where a defensive play cost him a run. But you look back to the division series, there's a defensive play that cost him a run in a loss in Atlanta. He comes back and hits a 3-run home run. Championship series has another 3-strikeout game, only to follow that with 3 home runs over the next 48 hours. Going to pick himself up again. He's worked it full here.
He's worked it full, but this is going to be a key. If he expands the strike zone here on 3-2, he's still got to stay disciplined. If you're Valdez, you think he's going to swing, you can throw anything you want if you think he's going to swing.
It's a fastball. It's bounced to 3rd, but it's just foul. It's the 2nd one, John, we've had right down there on that line.
Another one down the line, almost identical.
Wow.
And that one, I mean, that is like 1/8 of an inch.
It's a credit card. Dan Iasonia right on both. So Rhys Hoskins will settle back in for another 3-2 pitch. No score in the third inning of Game 6. Phillies trying to force Game 7. Astros a win away. Valdez turns and deals. Hoskins watches strike 3. Curveball falls in there to get him.
Tremendous break from top to bottom, and if you're sitting at home, you have no idea how hard this pitch is to make up your mind thinking that's got to be a ball. I'm not going to expand the zone, and then it drops in for a strike. And that's what makes him so tough, and that's why he keeps the ball in the ballpark, by the way. If you're sitting on that pitch, it's a different thing. Like, hey, I'm going to sit on a curveball. You see that, you might be able to hit it.
Curve misses to Real Muto. Last time Framber Valdez gave up a home run in this ballpark was July 3rd.
That's amazing.
Only 11 of them all year in 200 innings. 1-1. For a guy who didn't get a pro contract until 5 years after he was eligible to get one in the Dominican Republic. From anonymous prospect to an intriguing one with that curveball. Debuted when he was 24. The first couple of years, though, wasn't like he showed up and was dealing. He had an ERA above 5 his first 2 years. It was back and forth between the big leagues and AAA. Didn't become a full-time starter until 2020. And now in his 3rd year, All-Star for the first time. Pinning their hopes on him here in the World Series. His 2-1 pitch is a fastball for strike 2, and that is played up over the first few innings.
It's just amazing because he doesn't look like he could possibly throw 97 as effortless as he makes it look, and it's just on the hitter, and the hitter is trying to get a mistake. He hasn't had many tonight so far.
Two. Strikes out the side. Got the cheesesteaks in one city, got the Tex-Mex here in Houston, where we go to the bottom of the 3rd in Game 6. It is Trey Mancini to lead off. Bottom of the order for the Astros against Zach Wheeler. Dusty Baker's message to Mancini, go be aggressive. He is strike 1.
Aggressive with fastball at 99. Hey, well, we get a chance. I want to give a shout out to Braden Scott. He's dealing with some tough stuff, young boy. Diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Originally from Houston, big baseball fan. We're pulling for you and praying for you, young man.
0-1 pitch to Mancini is bounce foul. He's got a great guy to look up to here for inspiration in Mancini, who is 2 years removed from beating stage 3 colon cancer and playing in the World Series. His whole focus was on beating cancer. He wasn't thinking about getting back to playing baseball, but he beat it. He got back, and he's doing what he says still doesn't feel real at this point. In a tough spot here against Wheeler, starting the 3rd. Here's an 0-2.
A good take. That's where he's been really vulnerable and aggressive, so that's a good take. And if he can stay stubborn on 2 of those, because you can back that right back up if you're Wheeler, just to tease him even more, to say, okay, you took that one, but can you take the next one?
Outside with a fastball. One strikeout, 1 walk, no hits against Zach Wheeler so far. Deals 2-2. Cracks his bat. That's foul. Mancini's still alive, but the bat's not. And go get a new one. As it goes and gets a new piece of lumber. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. Seen a lot of big-time baseball in this ballpark in recent years. 4th trip to the World Series in 6 years. Trying to win it all for the first time since 2017. Mancini's got a new bat. Waits on this 2-2. Fastball. Shot to right, base hit. Trey Mancini with his first hit of the postseason to open the 3rd. It snaps in 0 for 18 and understandably brings a big smile to his face.
Yeah, I'm really surprised Wheeler, after throwing the one breaking ball, didn't go back to another breaking ball. And that fastball, he was able to get to it and at least hit it the other way. So an already bonus for the Houston bottom of the lineup. And Wheeler maybe wishing he had gone back to the breaking ball.
Sigh of relief for Trey Mancini. Only in the lineup because Yuli Gurriel is out with the injury. And he's the first man to get a hit against Zach Wheeler. Now Chas McCormick takes ball 1. And McCormick, one of the heroes of Game 5, with a defensive play that not many people had any business making. McCormick happens to be at his best going back into his left, and that's where he had to go to make the catch of his life, robbing JT Realmuto of extra bases in the 9th inning.
He too likes the fastball down.
And he broke his bat as well. And so McCormick in the 9th inning, he set off of the bat. He thought this ball was gone. He got to the wall in time to time that jump up. Laid there on the ground for a moment, and he said he looked up at Phillies fans and saw their faces, and he flashed back to when he says he was one of them as a 13-year-old when the Phillies lost the World Series to the Yankees. And one of the fans that was sitting there looking back at him got this picture of the imprint on the dirt. How cool is that shot?
Really cool. And if you're the Astros, you're hoping the same result happens here. One broken bat by Mancini. He got a new one. It was rewarded. Broken bat here by McCormick. Maybe the new one will do better.
And McCormick said as he's laying there after that catch, he says it felt like a dream. Felt like forever that he was laying there before he got up. Soaking it all in the city that he's from. With that new bat, swings and misses. And we go down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, I talked to Chaz about that picture you just saw of his dirt angel, if you will, on the warning track. He couldn't believe how clear it was, and actually said, I'm not even sure if that is real, but he said, if we win tonight, I am framing that and putting it on the wall.
Looks like something out of a museum. Yeah. Chaz Chomp they've started doing here the last couple of years. They love Chas McCormick, who leaves a fastball upstairs, and the count evens 2-2. Debuted last season. Really a platoon player for the better part of his 2 years in the major leagues. That at one point this summer was getting sent down to AAA. They called him back because of an injury. And he has seized center field here in this postseason run. On a 2-2 from Zach Wheeler. He takes ball 3.
Zach now has to make his first pitch of the game, because if he were to get 2 runners on in the bottom part of the lineup, that brings up the meat of the order coming up. And the recipe for Houston's been pretty simple the last 2 games. The top 5 guys have really delivered offensively. That's why this part of the lineup Zach has to go through and can't create a lot of traffic for Altuve.
Mancini single. Now McCormick on 3-2. Breaks his bat on a roller back to Wheeler. Out at second. Safe at first.
The degree of difficulty for Zach Wheeler right here is pretty incredible. This bat, if we're not mistaken, went right over his head.
So survive and then make the play.
Watch, the bat goes right over your head. He has the presence to pick it up. You can understand the throw's not perfect because he's got a bat flying over his head.
Jeez.
And he's able to make that play. Great pitch, great concentration, and almost doubled up a really fast runner.
He's going to have enough wood for a bonfire here soon. He's broken 3 bats in these 2 last at-bats. So he does get the first out. Now the 9-hitter, Maldonado.
Now Maldonado has twice been able to have a hit-and-run / base hit to right field when a runner's been on first in motion.
Strike 1. 36-year-old in his 12th season, looking for his first ring. McCormick off first as the 0-1 comes home from Wheeler. Maldonado takes inside 1-1.
You can see Wheeler really trying to get inside to most of these hitters. That's where he likes to throw his two-seamer. He's got great action in there, and that is why we're seeing some broken bats as well.
You love that as a pitcher. You break somebody in, kind of like an empowering feeling.
There's nothing better other than double play, but
he almost got both at the same time. Top of the order looms as he fires a 1-1 pitch. Bounce gently. Alec Bohm's got to hurry just in time, and he can thank his lucky stars that the catcher was running.
I'll say that is understandable from Maldonado, who's squatting behind the plate, and then you're asking him to beat out an infield hit. Good credit to Bohm. He took his time, didn't really have to feel like there was a panic, bare hand throw and get him out. Just barely got him out.
All right, so runner in scoring position for Jose Altuve. And John, one of the more stunning stats of this postseason is that even as Altuve has gotten it going lately, he still does not have an RBI.
Now, part of that was when he was going bad, expanding the zone and swinging at bad pitches. When you have runner in scoring position, typically the pitcher feels the stress and might make a mistake, and you take advantage of it.
1 ball, no strikes. Altuve struck out his first time. After starting this postseason 1 for 28, he's hitting .346 over his last 5. Longest tenured Astro, the face of this great run. Trying to put him in front in Game 6. He's ahead 2-0.
Uphill with those fastballs, 2 in a row now. On this 2-0 pitch, for me, Altuve would have to hit a breaking ball here. I can't afford to come in the zone with a guy who loves to swing and rarely takes 2 pitches in at bat in a row, yet alone 2. So see if Wheeler tries to spin something on the outside part of the plate with a base open.
Yeah, your antenna going up with those back-to-back takes. And now on 2-0, it's pinpoint and strike 1 in 3 straight takes from Altuve.
Yeah, and that was pinpoint. And he made an absolute perfect fastball on the outside part of the plate. A little cutting action on this one.
McCormick at second, 2 gone, 3rd inning. 2-1 pitch. Altuve. Strike 2. All fastballs. 2-2 on Altuve.
And you'll notice the last couple pitches, JT started out in and then moved away. See that? That's in case the runner's given location, so you kind of deke the location. The pitcher knows where it's going to be, and at the last second, the catcher gets to the desired spot. And 2 great pitches. Down in the count, 2-0, now even.
Scoreless game here on thin ice with a 2-out chance for Altuve. Fouls it off as Wheeler sticks with the hard stuff against one of the best in the game at hitting fastballs.
Now, you talked about that lack of four-seam fastballs the first time at 14%. This are already at 42%, meaning that's he's thrown his four-seam. He feels like he's got it back.
That's all he's thrown Altuve. He strikes him out, sticks with the fastball and ends the 3rd. Zach Wheeler, 3 scoreless innings in Game 6. Bryce Harper due to lead off the 4th.
Had a million nights just like
Caps, tees, hoodies, and more. All your postseason Astros and Phillies gear at the official source, MLBshop.com. Part of the order for the Phillies, no score. To the fourth, Bryce Harper leads off. First pitch, curve, strike one.
And from a game planning standpoint, of course, before the series, they said, look, Harper's the hottest guy in the universe. We got to take care of him. They, for the most part, have. Going into this game, 14 out of 21, we mentioned, he came to the plate with nobody on. Now that might not seem like that much. That's a ton when you're talking about the fourth hitter in a lineup.
That one's a little bit high, and we go down to Tom Verducci.
Yeah, you might have noticed between each pitch, the setup routine for Bryce Harper always the same, touching the ground there. He started this, he told me, last year after he was hit in the face by Genesis Cabrera of the Cardinals on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. It's a little meditative moment to get in touch with the ground and quiet himself.
On a 1-1, knees are buckled. 1-2. All spin so far from Valdez this time up. And that MVP of last year was that much more impressive when you consider that he had that happen a month into the season. He didn't just overcome the fear that he must have felt. He came back better than ever. On a 1-2 pitch, Harper gets another breaker and takes it. Ball 2.
Now, if Valdez wants to, we haven't seen many four-seamers, but to climb the ladder up with 2 strikes wouldn't be the worst pitch in the world after Harper's seen so many slow pitches and that internal radar gun that hitters have with their eyes. This pitch at 96 or 97 would look like 101.
Yeah, there's not too many times in this postseason where he's seen this many non-fastballs at any point. 75% of the pitches that he's seen in this World Series have been fastballs. On a 2-2, Harper swings and misses. It was a fastball and it was in on him. And strikeout number 6 for Framber Valdez, including his 4th in a row.
Yeah, it's just so nasty after seeing breaking ball, and then he heats him up. 2-seamer and eats him up. Look at the movement. It's right down the middle, and it ended up being a ball, and Harper tried to get it before it got him, and no luck.
That is now 25 Ks for Framber Valdez in 15 innings against the Phillies over the last month. Strike on Castellanos. You figure that the more times you see a guy, the more information you've gathered, the more comfortable you're going to be, but so far more the same.
I mean, he's locked in. And what could have gotten him off the tracks, really, seriously, in that first batter from Kyle Schwarber after a walk. Last year, maybe he wouldn't have reacted the way he reacted this year.
0-2. So much better mentally. All that work with the sports psychology staff. A lot of encouragement from his manager. This is one of the most important moments of his career. It was one of the first conversations he had with Dusty Baker when he was still trying to break in. And Dusty said, hey, you got a chance to be a big-time pitcher for us. I believe in you. Now you got to believe in you. His 0-2. Dragged left side and foul.
Well, the disparity between his slowest pitch and fastest pitch is pretty dramatic because, as I talked about, each hitter kind of gauges in timing. They have their own timing mechanism. And when they think they've got something timed and it's by them, that messes with your mind. It starts becoming a little defeated when you think, I had that time, but I had no chance. And he's messing with all the hitters' timing in a very important game.
0-2 to Castellanos. Back foot misses. 1-2. Yeah, 97 we showed a moment ago is the hardest pitch that he's thrown this year. He normally averages 94, and it's a lot of separation right there. 78 to 94. But with the movement, he's got the velocity today too. Shakes a few times and gonna step off.
Well, 19 miles. That's the spread between fastball and the slowest pitch.
Here's 1-2.
Oh, no, did it go?
No swing, 2-2.
Almost hit it on the bounce. Again, I don't know that he'll do this, but he could tie up Castellanos upstairs. Good low ball hitter. Will chase the curveball down. That's why it's enticing to do. And there you see it right there, just about 8 inches above the plate. But he would most certainly tie him up with any heater up above his belt and possibly beat him.
Here's his 2-2. Fastball poked down the line, foul. A lot of the plate with that one.
Yeah, he was late. If he could have got it up higher, then that would have been more of the swing and miss. But now he's at least reset him. What I mean by reset him, he's gotten that area of the pitch up that he went and swung at down the middle. Now a breaking ball off that same height might entice a swing out of the zone here on a 2-2 count.
8th pitch coming to Nick Castellanos. Scoreless 4th inning. Another 2-2 from Framber Valdez is in the dirt.
It's too low. And it was the right idea, but he started it too low and he knows it. He still has an aggressive hitter on a 3-2 count, so you still don't have to just throw a strike here. He makes a better breaking ball pitch here on 3-2. It'd be hard for Castellanos to not want to swing at it.
Payoff pitch. Wow. Spoils it.
But see what I'm saying? Like, that's a guy you put down on your scorecard. Go, he doesn't want to walk right now. And if he doesn't want to walk, I don't have to throw a lot of strikes. Now, he did get him to 3-2, so he's done something right. But that pitch was by far ball all the way, and he fouled it off.
How about Castellanos, though, John? Working these long at-bats the last couple games.
He's getting closer and closer to the hitter that I think, again, next year is going to be a total different hitter for the Philadelphia Phillies.
He was a beast the last couple years. Hit 34 homers, above 300 average last year with the Cincinnati Reds. Only 12 home runs in his first year with the Phillies, and none so far in the postseason. Another 3-2. Strike 3 called. He went off in the inside corner to ring him up. Castellanos got to be careful here. Although he certainly has a case to have some beef with Lance Barksdale.
Well, Castellanos, taller hitter, and he knows that that ball's down and possibly inside. But the little hesitation and fastball definitely off the plate. He's going to go back and check that iPad and be verified. But an incredible at bat, and now 5 strikeouts in a row.
And now Castellanos saying that's why I swing all the time. All right, I'm patient. I have a good take, and it means I strike out. 2 up, 2 down, 4th inning. Alec Bohm, who's got the lone hit of this game for the Phillies. Did it on the first pitch his last time. First pitch here is a curve for a strike.
Maldonado, before that pitch, just giving his starter more of an encouragement. Come on, let's go.
Guy Dusty Baker says is his general. Fly to right. No big deal for Kyle Tucker. That's a 1-2-3 4th inning for Framber Valdez. Pitchers duel going in game 6.
Plus I'm sitting sideways.
People's Champ bringing us back from break. One of these two teams going to be champs at the end of this weekend. Both pitchers locked in so far.
Yeah, they're both executing extremely well, and of course Wheeler probably doesn't have as many pitches because he's still got another half inning to pitch. And I would expect Pena to be really aggressive on this first pitch and see how Wheeler attacks him.
Wheeler comes home. Jeremy Pena is aggressive. He's got a base hit on the first pitch of the fourth.
And every time I think somebody's aggressive, it usually calls for an off-speed pitch. But Pena got a fastball up, as he's done all postseason, delivering as if he's a 10-year veteran. Ball's up, gets on top of it.
Got a hit in every game in this World Series. It's a 7-game hitting streak back to the last game of the championship series, and this kid has continued to answer every question and every step of the way. He's on to open the fourth, and Yordan Alvarez is at the plate. Cutter to the corner for a strike.
Great pitch. They've been trying to jam Alvarez and really tie him up and not let him get going. And every time you're looking at that thumper in the offense, you got to keep him quiet, and they have kept him quiet so far.
Homered in each of the first 2 games of this postseason run for the Astros. They might not be here without him. They might not get out of the division series without him. But he's given him hardly anything since. Pops this one into shallow center for Sosa.
See, I'm dropping that. I know they don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
You trade the runners. You put Alvarez at first, and you get a little speed off the base. Nobody does that anymore.
Didn't you say you would do it? Like you told coaches throughout your career,
Oh, yeah.
you had a similar chance to do it.
Yeah, I did it, but I blew it.
Oh, no, you threw it into center?
Yeah, a little different as a pitcher in a pop-up bunt, but no one ever does that anymore, just because I think the fear factor of, you know, somehow that guy gets on.
Well, John, in game 2, Zach Wheeler did settle in after they ambushed him in the first inning, and then in the 5th, this guy here, Alex Bregman, cranked a 2-run home run against him. 6 of those in the World Series in his career. Swings and misses, strike 1.
Well, the one thing that Zach has done a great job, and it's kind of flirting with fire, but when you're so good at throwing the ball in against a hitter who's so good at damage in, he's almost messing with Bregman's mind because no one pitches him like that. So if you're good in or third, you get him aware of the pitch way in and say, I can beat you in where you're really good. And so far, Wheeler's been able to do that.
I would say nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody throws me. Fastballs in here. Another fastball. It's fouled into the glove, and it's 0-2.
But see, that's what it does. It opens it up. Bregman doesn't swing and miss a lot in the strike zone. I mean, it's under 10%. He just doesn't. But he was able, these 2 pitches, to get swings and misses.
Really good 2-strike hitter. He's reached base all 12 games this postseason. Pena at first, 1 gone, and an 0-2 pitch. Bregman fouls it off.
Now that one he got away with. And Wheeler kind of turned to the side after he threw it. That pitch was not where that needed to be. Set up inside and got it right down the middle, and lucky he got this one back. See how he set up in, but that's center cut. And the velocity just beat Bregman with 2 strikes.
Wheeler tries again. This time a spinner, and he's out in front for strike 3. 3rd strikeout for Zach Wheeler. 2 away in the 4th.
The angle of which he delivers the ball makes this pitch even better, because you're seeing 97, and then there's that side kind of swing and miss type breaking ball that we don't see a lot out of Wheeler, but when he throws it, the numbers against it are awful for hitters.
2 out, and you're going to face Tucker, who you said you were already worrying about if you're a pitcher, and now you, first time up, you had to show him 10 pitches.
Yeah, and a walk to boot. Again, when you're in these kind of spots in the World Series, you're just trying to get away from the guy's sweet spot. Like, you don't even mind giving up a hit right here if it doesn't score a run, but you just want to stay away from, obviously, the 2-out, 2-run homer. We're in a tight game that seems like 4 runs just scored.
On the verge of elimination to boot. It's a bouncing ball. Segura charges and gets Tucker to finish off the 4th. Zach Wheeler for the Phillies. Framber Valdez for the Astros. Just as it should be. Deep into the World Series. Game 6, no score to the 5th in Houston. The 2022 World Series on Fox is presented by Capital One. No score, 5th inning, Game 6. Phillies trying to force a Game 7. Astros on the verge of a title. Bottom of the order for Framber Valdez, who's retired 7 straight. 5 Ks in there. Gene Segura showed bunt and pulled it back just in time.
Yeah, if you're the Phillies in this on the road, you got to win the first 5 innings. At least that's the way you would feel. And so far, even though they're not winning, they're winning the first 5 innings because it's tied. Their pitcher's matching Valdez. Now, if their offense can kind of scratch anything across, what a lift that would be.
Segura grounds one to second. And an easy play for Jose Altuve. 1 gone in this 5th for every home run hit this postseason. T-Mobile's donating $5 grand to Team Rubicon's hurricane recovery efforts. And when you text relief to 595959, T-Mobile donates another $5. 91 home runs hit this postseason. That adds up to $455,000 in donations for hurricane relief. Framber Valdez. Unique left-handed pitcher. Ground ball inducing sinker, the swing and a miss slider. Away with the first one to Matt Vierling. And speaking of unique, the only other left-handed pitcher to strike out 5 in a row in a World Series game, Sandy Koufax. 2-0. Now, Vierling is the last guy to reach. He walked on 4 pitches his first time, so he's seen 6 pitches, all balls. On this 2-0, strike 1.
Well, the mechanics again. I just fall in love with a guy who has clean mechanics for really over the course of time. You repeat those mechanics, you shouldn't have trouble throwing strikes. And the only reason he has trouble throwing strikes sometimes is he's got such incredible movement on his pitches. And every once in a while he takes the foot off the gas with his sinker, almost as trying to get ahead without really firing that 2-seamer in the zone.
Altuve again. 2 up, 2 down. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Chevrolet, electric vehicles for everyone, everywhere. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. Game 6 in '93. Phillies fans are not to be reminded. Joe Carter's walk-off home run. 2 quick outs in this 5th inning. Now the 9-hitter Edmundo Sosa, who had the best swing of the day for the Phillies and just missed a home run.
He sure did. Pulls it 20 feet left. It's gone.
Yordan Alvarez, the left fielder, caught it right against the wall, just beyond the Crawford boxes. Strike 1.
This is reminding me of Game 6 in '91, where Steve Avery dueled to a 0-0 game in our elimination game. We were down 3-2 and ultimately won in the 9th, 1-0. But when you have 2 pitchers doing this right here, you know the hitters are feeling the pressure too, saying, ah, man, just scratch a run and then let our bullpen late go to work. All Avery did in that series was win 2 1-0 games.
Framber Valdez, a gem of his own. Home with an 0-2 pitch. after he got rocked in both World Series starts last year. 5 runs in both games against Atlanta. Failed to make it through the 3rd inning in either. A year later, game 2, 6 1/3, just 1 run. Game 6, 4 2/3, no runs. Only 1 hit against him. Another 0-2 pitch.
You wonder why pitchers throw balls back out. It's because they don't have the feel. Not every baseball is particularly the same, and when you've had a baseball in your hand your whole life, you could blindfold every pitcher and you can know if it's oblong, if the stitching is too high or what have you, and you can tell he's sweating pretty good just trying to get control over everything here and have another potential clean inning.
Here's 1-2. Fouled off. Sosa barely stays alive. You're talking about the mix of Valdez. This is why it's so hard to hit him.
Well, he's not very tall, but he throws tall. And what I mean by that is the ball comes out at that same slot. You have no idea. You have no idea right there until the end. You have no idea what it is, and you're trying to guess as a hitter. And that's why they have a lot of swings and misses out of the zone on breaking balls.
He's carving through them tonight. Strikes out Edmundo Sosa. Framber Valdez, 8 Ks through 5 scoreless innings. Halfway home in game 6. Well, the hardware is in the house tonight. Astros trying to win it. Phillies trying to force a chance to win it tomorrow. And these 2 starters back and forth, tremendous. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, a grand slam for your budget. Well, for the Astros in this 5th inning, 6, 7, and 8 coming up. Christian Vasquez grounded into a double play his first time. Wheeler comes home. Strike 1 with a fastball.
Who's going to blink first? Neither starter willing to even think about the bullpen getting going.
Over the mound, waiting at second, Gene Segura. And Vasquez the first out of the 5th. Up comes Trey Mancini, and we go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, Dusty Baker's powers of observation are second to none. Late in game 5, Trey Mancini took a 1-1 fastball for a strike. And Baker noticed that from his body language, Mancini was caught in between. The two talked about it today. Baker told him, trust your instincts, have a plan, stick to it. You see that conversation earlier today.
And after he started the postseason 0 for 18, a base hit, first one against Wheeler, his first time up.
Well, if he gets the 2 strikes again, I'd be shocked if Wheeler doesn't throw the breaking balls to get him a chase off the plate. Only 1 in that last at bat, and then he gave him a fastball that Mancini gladly touching first base. Euphoric feeling when you're struggling.
Deadline pickup from the Orioles. He takes by the hands, and it's 1-1. And just another example of the touch of Dusty Baker, who's been a manager for 25 seasons. Trey Mancini, one of the 558 players that he's managed. A lot of those guys look at him as either like a brother figure or a father figure. And so many people, those former players or opponents of his when he was a player, watching this game from afar, pulling for Dusty Baker. The 1-2 to Mancini is fouled off.
You know what we're going to see Dusty Baker do in this game, I feel? He'll be in the far end of the dugout. If this team doesn't score in the next couple innings, look for him to change some mojo. I've seen him go down there, change spots, whatever it takes.
Another 1-2.
Oh, nope.
The day that he took the job in 2020, Dusty said, this is it. This is my last hurrah. This is my last chance to accomplish the goal. And now in his 3,981st game as a big league manager, he's 1 win away. Closest he's been since Game 6 in 2002 when he was 5 outs away. The Angels scored 3 runs in the 7th, 3 runs in the 8th to win that game, and then beat his Giants the next night in Game 7. A 2-2 to Mancini. A good pitch from Wheeler. 2 gone in the 5th. We got a full slate of NFL action tomorrow on Fox, highlighted by Seahawks and Cardinals. Check for the game in your area. Then on November 13th, one of the biggest games of the year in the NFC. Historic rivals face off in Lambeau, and the Cowboys take on the Packers.
You know what I never asked Dusty of all these times we get to talk to him? Are those flavored toothpicks? Have you ever had a flavored toothpick?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Way better than the wooden taste. I would concur. Chas McCormick with 2 gone. Takes a strike.
Well, I'm sure they're going to be watching. Rob's going to be watching to see how strong Wheeler stays with that 4-seam and 2-seam fastball. I've seen a high percentage of it. And right now he's not showing any ill effects. The only thing you watch for when a pitcher gets a little fatigued is he starts getting a little lower with his release point, flattens out those pitches, and it doesn't have the same late life. But right now at 61 pitches, don't see any signs of that being the case on Zach Wheeler.
His 0-2 to McCormick. Fastball got him swinging. Back-to-back Ks to finish off a 1-2-3 5th. And the top of the order for the Phillies coming up. That means Kyle Schwarber when you come back. 300 grand to the Jackie Robinson Foundation for a season total of $550,000 to support the foundation's minority scholarship and leadership programs. No score to the 6th inning in Game 6. Top of the order for the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber to lead off against Framber Valdez.
Well, it's not desperate time yet for Philly, but the way this game is going and each pitcher being on their game and the bullpen that's waiting, you would think in this inning right here, set up for the Phillies' best chance of scoring, and they really haven't had much.
Valdez has retired 10 straight. His first one to Schwarber's in for a strike. A little tighter breaking pitch there.
Well, that's what he does. He has the ability to shorten it and make it big. And
his 0-1. The Phillies' 2 wins in this series have reflected their season-long identities. Perseverance in Game 1, power in Game 3, and for the Astros, the last 2 wins have done the same. 2 runs allowed the last 2 games by a team that's been led by its pitching all year. Valdez doing it again here in Game 6 ahead of Schwarber 1-2.
Yeah, Schwarber's been in between tonight, and you can't blame him because it's tough to hit when this guy on the mound is as good as he is. And Schwarber, the only way to really kind of combat that is to think the other way, but that's not who Schwarber is. We've already seen the 490, 488-foot home run pull side.
On a 1-2 pitch, he takes the ball.
Because the reason I say that, if you don't understand that at home, is if a hitter is thinking middle to away, you stay longer and wait on a breaking ball. But they don't want to get beat on fastballs. So staying longer and waiting, and the fastball comes, you're late. So every hitter will tell you, or most will tell you, I'm on the fastball, adjust to the breaking ball. Well, with a guy like this and the amount of breaking balls he throws, sometimes you go up there sitting on it and get success.
Let's see on 2-2. It's a fastball and it's cranked to right field and it's gone. Astros blink first. Schwarber with a blast and it's 1-0 in the 6th.
It's about as quick a hands as you're going to see when we get a chance to see this replay. And Schwarber has been doing this throughout his career. Watch how quick this is. This is a sinker that comes back into the middle part of the plate, and he makes it disappear. You got to be so quick to the ball right there, and pooh. It's what the Phillies needed. First one to score.
Schwarber with his 3rd home run in the last 4 games, his 6th in his last 11 games, and it's 1-0 Phillies in the 6th.
You know, I said he's been in between on some of the pitches. He got really caught looking twice, but got the benefit of a call that turned into a walk the next time he struck out. Well, whatever his game plan was the 3rd time, check that off as an execute.
Does it again in the postseason. Here's a soft bouncing ball left side. Bregman with a bare hand. What a play by Alex Bregman.
Well, you got to be so quick on your feet, and this play right here is practiced 1,000 times in his mind and in spring training, and it becomes a staple for most third basemen who are so gifted like Bregman is.
One away in the 6th. Framber Valdez gives up a home run at home for the first time since July 3rd. Got the call there. Strike 1 on Real Muto.
You know what the best part about it? He didn't budge. He didn't move. He didn't get mad. Didn't change his emotion. Certainly you don't want to give it up, but
Bregman again. This one much easier. And Real Muto is out number 2.
Let's go back and look at this pitch sequence on Schwarber, and just first 2 times he had him baffled. All right, so he starts off with the hard breaking ball, throws the slower one. Good take so far. That one right there buckled him, but then he came right back with a breaking ball off the plate and the fastball inner third, and he turned on it and didn't let it come back.
Most experienced guy in the postseason on this Phillies roster. Kenny told us he addressed the team after they fell behind 3-2 in Philadelphia. The wisdom he picked up in his previous 6 trips to the postseason. Harper shows bunt and takes a ball. For Kyle Schwarber, it was his 15th postseason home run.
Well, for Rob Thompson, that's huge. Even though it's only 1 run, it allows him to manage the game. He's going to manage this game, obviously, as a game 7. So his starter gets in any trouble, he'll have his horses ready to go. He'd prefer a little more leash than a 1 run, but at least gives him some momentum to get guys ready to finish this game.
And Zach Wheeler was a massive question coming into this game, given the velocity being down last time. But he has answered all those questions, and they finally have gotten him some support. Harper turns on a ball down the line, hooking, foul. He nearly parked one of his own out there.
Well, we talked about, and you've asked me, you know, what's easier, when you've had success to pitch again or when you haven't had success in making the adjustment? I think when you haven't had success in making an adjustment, we saw Verlander do it, grind out a win. We've seen so far Wheeler do it now and take a difference of his first game to his second game in the World Series.
Curve gets him to chase and finishes off the 6th, but the Phillies break through first. Babe Schwarber again. Started last game with a home run. Starts the scoring here in game 6 with a home run. It's 1-0 Philadelphia, facing elimination in game 6. Zach Wheeler pitching with the lead for the first time. 1-0, bottom of the 6th, and ball 1 on Maldonado. 9-1-2 for the Astros after Kyle Schwarber launches his 3rd home run of the World Series. Joins Chase Utley and Ryan Howard as the only Phillies to homer in back-to-back games in the World Series. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Wheeler has been all over it. Only 2 3-ball counts, and that's how you get your team with a chance in elimination. He has almost been perfect.
Until there, he hits Maldonado. And you've said it 100 times this postseason. A leadoff base runner feels like a rally, and especially when it comes in front of the top of the order.
Yeah, what they're discussing there is that he didn't make an attempt or dove into it, and I don't think he did. And I think this is the right call. We saw before where it was a very obvious lean in. He did pull his arm back, and that's all they can ask for. You think about getting hit and the pitch is in. If he makes no movement and even goes towards home plate with his elbow, they can make that call differently.
It was Ledmus Diaz in Game 1 of the World Series who leaned into it.
Philadelphia has challenged.
Yeah, they're challenging it, hoping that it hit the bat, but they're going to see real quickly that that's not the case. You know, you got to make an attempt to get out of the way, and you can't make it to where you're trying to get hit. And so clearly hit by the pitch, and I don't know if they're challenging the fact that you can even challenge him directly making that move to get hit. Certainly there was no question on whether it hit the batter.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. The batter was hit by the pitch. He's awarded first base. Philadelphia has 1 challenge remaining.
And it's not reviewable, whether or not he tried to get hit.
Right.
And so the leadoff man is on. Top of the order's up, and we go down to Tom Verducci.
Well, we saw Martin Maldonado last year in the World Series take an intentional walk by getting right on top of the plate. Essentially, he wasn't going to swing. This time, if you noticed, he got right up on the chalk line to the batter's box, almost daring Wheeler to come in with that 2-seamer running in on him.
Yeah, anything the Astros can get from Maldonado offensively is gravy. He'll chip in any way he can.
And that's right, Tom, because they were pitching and pounding him in. So once you've seen that, I think it was a great move. We don't see hitters move in the box at all anymore. They plant their feet and they stay. Well, Maldonado getting in might have just got him on.
Altuve, John, has struck out both times. Heavy dose of fastballs. First one, very high. All right, so Maldonado, take a look at where he was his previous at-bat in the 3rd, and now look at where he is this at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, that's just great on his part, and challenging the pitcher to stay with his game plan by pounding in with the fastball. Well, it worked for him.
1 ball, no strikes. Altuve takes ball 2. That's the 3rd. Bohm the 2nd one. Segura to first. Not in time. Altuve's on the fielder's choice. Well, they get a faster base runner out there.
I tell you what, that was a gutsy pitch on a 2-0. He came in and I think broke the bat of Altuve. That just tells you what late life Wheeler still has. 2-0 pitch. You're going to a guy's sweet spot and he's leaning in, break his bat. Certainly not hit hard enough to turn 2.
And so Altuve's on and Pena's up. We talk about Jeremy Pena answering all the questions that have been asked along this season. He's been the only answer for the Astros for much of this World Series lately. He's 4 for his last 6. Rest of the team is 7 for 45 in those 2 games. Tying on a board, go ahead, run at the plate. Jeremy Pena.
Well, this might be Wheeler's last hitter. Alvarado is warming up. Unless there's a double play here, more than likely you'd think he'd come in to face Alvarez. And those throwovers, by the way, are to give the big left-hander more time. That's not throwing over thinking absolutely he's going to steal. It has a dual purpose. Keep him close and give Alvarado a little more time in the pen.
Wheeler to Pena. Outside ball one. Twice in this series, as we take a look at our player resume sponsored by Indeed, Jeremy Pena has been the last hitter that a pitcher faced.
Yeah, but it hadn't worked out very well.
No, there was a reason he became the last hitter. He homered to chase Noah Syndergaard, singled to chase Aaron Nola. On this 1-0, Pena grounds one through, base hit center field. Altuve heads for third. Vierling's throw comes into second. Astros have him cornered. And for the third time in 6 games in this World Series, it's Jeremy Pena putting the finishing touches on a Phillies starter.
Right up the middle. Seems simple, but not a lot of guys can do it. Speed on the bases. Pressure on the Phillies now. The Astros trying to answer.
So they've got Altuve at third, representing the tying run. They've got Pena at first, representing the go-ahead run. Zach Wheeler's finished. Jose Alvarado's coming on to face Yordan Alvarez. And the world kicks off. Christian Pulisic leads the U.S. men's national team as they return to the World Cup stage for the first time in 8 years. The FIFA World Cup starts November 20th on Fox and FS1. Well, after 5 scoreless innings, Kyle Schwarber lit the fire with a solo shot to lead off the 6th against Framber Valdez. Astros wasting no time. Maldonado crowded the plate, got hit by a pitch. He was replaced by Altuve on a fielder's choice. And then a base hit for Jeremy Pena, has runners at the corners. Yordan Alvarez coming up. And Jose Alvarado, this is the matchup, John, they've looked for all series. They're going to have it again. Alvarez facing off with Alvarado.
Well, you want to be a reliever in the big leagues. The last couple times now, Alvarado has had the bases loaded, nobody out. Unfortunately, a tough situation, didn't work out well. Now he's got first and third, 1 out. Much better situation as opposed to bases loaded, nobody out, but facing a guy that he is hoping he can either get a ground ball double play or a swing and a miss strikeout to keep this game 1-0. And Alvarado is kind of guy that can do that.
He's faced him 3 times, 0 for 2. He hit him with the bases loaded last time he faced him. First pitch, ground ball foul. Yordan Alvarez, walk-off home run, first game of the postseason. Game-winning home run, game 2 of the postseason. 5 for 42 since. 40 at-bats since that go-ahead home run in game 2.
Well, he won the battle on the first pitch. He thought he could get him first strike and look for him to go to that hard cutter to get a swing over the top barrel, but he was all over that sinker first pitch.
Here's the 0-1. Alvarez takes way outside. Real Muto able to get his glove to it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pena trying to mess up the vision of Alvarado. He's got kind of a big one-way lead, meaning he's jockeying, trying to get Alvarado to think differently that he might be going, even though he's just staying right there.
Can Yordan Alvarez come through? He's ahead, 2-1.
When you come in as a reliever, especially late in the game, you're always thinking, how can I get out of the jam? But sometimes you got to make sure, how can I avoid the big inning? The bases loaded, nobody out. That's 2 runs or less would be getting out of a jam. Here, at bare minimum, you've got to keep the game tied. Obviously, the best case scenario is you go back in the inning up 1-0.
On a 2-1, Alvarez hits a high drive center field. Veer leans back. This game is turned upside down. A titanic drive for the ages over the batter's eye in center field. And Yordan Alvarez has given the Astros a 3-1 lead in the 6th inning. Bregman.
We talked about it. It was his 3-1 homer in game 1 that possibly could be the reason they're here. And it's this 3-run homer that possibly could be the reason why they win the World Series. What a blast. And the more you see a reliever in a series, the better chances start going to the hitter. And you saw he knew right away. Everybody in this crowd knew right away. And unfortunately, Alvarado knew right away.
You're not supposed to be able to hit him up there.
No. I don't think I didn't think that was possible.
Ball 3. If you can believe it, not many teams wanted Yordan Alvarez coming out of Cuba. And the biggest reason why, nobody thought that he'd hit for enough power. In his last 2 years in Cuba, he hit 1 home run, and it was an inside-the-park home run. Then he comes to the United States, he keeps working, works all day on his swing, adds the power, starts weightlifting, starts eating better, and now you've got a full-fledged monster who's vying to be a World Series hero.
Well, I told you Dusty Baker was going to move positions. You know where he's at? He's at the camera well and down the first base line. Don't tell me that managers are just like players.
Had he moved down there before the home run?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, the magic touch, Dusty Baker. And it's the guy that he has many times said reminds him of a young Barry Bonds with the biggest swing of this World Series. A 3-2 to Bregman is in the dirt. That's ball 4. One more look. Well, not one more, but for now, another look at a 450-foot shot.
450 feet straight away is like hitting a 500-foot down the line pull. And I'm telling you, it's the loudest this place has been in a while, and certainly Dusty,
First home run since the division series. If it holds up, all 3 home runs this postseason will be game winners for Yordan Alvarez. Astros looking for more. They've got Bregman aboard on the walk, and they've got Kyle Tucker at the plate. Sir Anthony Dominguez getting ready. This is how Rob Thompson has managed the entire postseason. This is how he successfully guided the Phillies to this point. That was the matchup they wanted. But seeing him for a 4th time, Alvarez wins the battle. Kyle Tucker Ball one gets away from Real Muto, and it's unraveling on Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, unfortunately for Jose, he's been Mr. Incredible for Philadelphia, been in almost as many games as you can imagine. Unfortunately, he's inherited 5 runners in this series, and all 5 have scored. We talked about the 3 are almost impossible. Bases loaded, nobody out. I don't know many people that can kind of wiggle out of that. And right now, you know he's got to be frustrated. And that guy had no chance of catching a home run ball. 0. That probability was less than 1.
They need to get that guy some security. It looks like they already got some security for him. That is one you want to hold on to. Ball and a strike on Tucker.
Well, it is so imperative now for Philadelphia to kind of slow this momentum down. And that's why they got their other big-time reliever up, because they know 7, 8, 9 against some flame-throwing bullpen of Houston.
One pitch. Ball 2 on Tucker. This would fulfill the 3-batter minimum for Jose Alvarado. So Anthony Dominguez ready to come in as soon as that's complete. Zach Wheeler 5 scoreless innings. First 3 reach against him here in the 6th. Bullpen comes in. You blink and the game has changed. 2-1.
And see, I know that, you know, the hardest part about managing in the postseason is everything gets critiqued, everything gets second guessed, everything's always micromanaged. And because you said it, this is what he's done. Wheeler at 70 pitches, even though he'd given up, you know, just that single up the middle, the matchup called for lefty on left, and it did not work out so far for the Phillies.
Full count.
And the reason you can say that is because the feeling and rhythm of a starting pitcher is exactly that. When he's connected, I'll tell you, every hitter will tell you the same thing. You took him out, thank you. Even though the next guy throws 99, thank you. Because it's just, you've seen the flow of the game. But it is the way Philadelphia and the matchups of their great left-handed and right-handed combination pitchers have been doing it all postseason. It worked until the last 2 times.
Well, the 3rd time through the order penalty is a real thing. That's why the game has changed. And you have all these great relievers coming in to protect instead of having a guy face the lineup for the 3rd time. But another penalty is something you're touching on, and that is seeing a reliever time and again throughout the series. Just a different kind of problem.
You're not going to see a reliever in a regular season in a 3-game series 3 times. You're just not. But in the postseason, in a 7-game series, you could see him 4 to 5 times. And that hitter starts gaining info and deep, you know, and taking advantage of it.
Tucker on 3-2. Grounds one again foul.
And the other side of the coin is we think that relievers are immune to just every time they get out there, they're going to have the same stuff every single time. You know how many times they warm up and don't get in or have to rev the engine. So this is what the Philadelphia Phillies have been able to do, and it's why they're here.
Ranger Suarez down there in the Phillies bullpen. Another 3-2. Tucker down swinging. Now, the other side of that coin, John, is that one thing that can give the Phillies some hope going later into this game is that even as dominant as the Astros pen has been all postseason, they're seeing the same guys as well. Dusty Baker's run the same arms out there throughout this World Series. And as he tries to protect a narrow lead here late, you've got Presley and Montero, who have both pitched in 4 of the 5 games. It's going to do it for Jose Alvarado. Yordan Alvarez, so many monster home runs throughout his short big league career, but none bigger than this. A 3-run shot that takes a 1-0 deficit, makes it a 3-1 lead for the Astros. 1 win from a world championship. Sir Anthony Dominguez, 2 gone, bottom of the 6th. That's a big run sitting out there at second as Christian Vasquez takes ball 1.
What a crazy 6th inning.
Right? How much fun is this? I mean, right now Phillies fans are saying no fun at all, but as a fan of baseball, it doesn't get any better. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, there may be some people that have an issue with how this inning started, and I get it. I mean, but it wasn't the super intentional hit by pitch. It was just the intentional get on top of the plate with a guy that struggles to get hits. He got hit, and it started a 3-run rally.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Vasquez. Yeah, there's so many things, and you know, you look back at moments in the World Series, and you look back and you'll find that home run ages from now if the Astros hang on to win this game. But so many moments when you squint and look within the games, within the innings. And Maldonado, that subtle adjustment from the no offense catcher, starts what at this point is the key rally.
And I really thought, again, you know, it's not second guessing, but I really thought that Alvarado was going to have to hit a cutter, and he did. He had a straight down the middle 2-seamer at 98, 99, and it was not the pitch, obviously, that Alvarado was trying to locate.
It was a 99-mile-per-hour fastball, which makes it the fastest pitch that Yordan Alvarez has homered on in his career. Base hit left field, Christian Vasquez. Bregman heads home. Schwarber can't get it cleanly. Massive insurance run knocked in by Vasquez.
Vasquez, we said, is a good low ball hitter. And where was that pitch? It was in off the plate, but it was low, and he allowed him to get the barrel of the bat to the ball. Schwarber trying to make a do-or-die play, field it and throw. Don't think it would have mattered, but what a huge 2-out base hit.
And so the 2 catchers for the Astros chipping in their own individual ways in this 6th inning. We detail what Maldonado did, and now Christian Vasquez, just his 3rd start of the postseason. This one coming as the DH. A 2-out RBI single to make it 4-1. Trey Mancini.
I mean, I'm a little bit surprised that Hoskins is playing that kind of halfway off the bag and letting Vasquez get as big a lead as he wants.
One and two. Up the middle, Segura, good range across his body, and a pick from Hoskins. That ends the 6th, and the 6th inning is the one that you'll circle at this point. Looking back on Game 6, Schwarber got the Phillies in front, and then a legendary swing from Yordan Alvarez. It's 4-1 Houston after 6. MLB's RBI program is designed to support organizations that provide baseball and softball playing opportunities to youth and underserved communities. Visit MLB.com/RBI for more information. So this is up to the Astros bullpen, which has been historically good. Hector Neris making his 3rd appearance of the series. Ball 1 on Nick Castellanos. The Phillies have had answers all year. They were 8 games below 500 at the end of May. They were the last team into the postseason field. Started their postseason by scoring 6 runs in the 9th inning to erase a deficit. That's a strike, and it's 1-1. Did it in the division series. Did it in the championship series. Came back from 5-0 game 1 of the World Series. Can they take another haymaker and punch back again? Or is this the Astros' time? Houston 9 outs away from a second World Championship. 1-2 on Nick Castellanos.
Well, the one thing that this series goes longer, you think the Houston Astros gain the momentum and they have the advantage. Well, they took the hottest offense at home and they started the last 27 innings really dominating with their pitching, and that's how they got here. And their bullpen has been almost unhittable. So they have, when they were down, they have flexed their muscles with their arms and timely hitting.
Neris deals. Castellanos gets it off the end of the bat. Shallow right center field. Altuve says that he's got it and does. Well, the Phillies took a 2-1 series lead by hitting 5 home runs in Game 3. Christian Javier then comes back and unthinkably has 6 innings and a combined no-hitter. Verlander gets his first World Series win, giving up 1 run over 5 innings, and then Framber Valdez tonight continuing what the identity of this Astros team has been all year.
Yeah, it started with that man, Javier. He kind of closed the narrative of this unbeatable team at home in the Phillies, and then look what the Astros have done in the postseason. That's about all you can ask for.
That's 5 runs in 51 1/3, John. And 4 of those 5 runs came on 4 solo home runs.
Yeah, so it wasn't anything other than solo home run you think they could score. The Astros did enough. They only scored so far in this World Series in 9 different innings. But it's a crooked number in 6 of those that have helped them so far.
0-2 on Alec Bohm. That's been the thing all year. Just enough from the offense. They've not been as good of an offensive team as they have in recent years during this great run. But they've been good. And the pitching staff has been great. Plenty enough to make it all hold up. Bohm, who's 1 for 2 today. It's one of the 2 hits for the Phillies. He's 1 for 3. Neris flames a fastball by him.
This is just go ahead and hit it. Top of the zone. Flame.
94 looking like 98 from the old Philly. Eight years in Philadelphia, didn't get a chance to play in the postseason, hit free agency, and his #1 priority was going somewhere that he felt like could take him to October. And here in November, trying to provide the bridge to the clinching game in the World Series. Gene Segura with the bases empty and 2 out. Laid on a fastball, which has been sneaky fast in this inning.
Oh, man, he's staying back over the rubber and letting his fastball go. Haven't really even got to his great split finger that often. You see he's going to hold the grip behind him as a split finger, and then when he goes to the glove, if he needs to change, he changes to a fastball much easier than doing the opposite.
Giddy up.
Because if he holds the fastball behind his body, then he has to do too much to change to the split. So anyone who throws splits in the big leagues, they will always hold it as a split and then change it in the glove to something else if they have to. There's a good look at it right there.
0-2 pitch. Got him. Hector Neris with a 1-2-3-7. The Astros are 6 outs away. And now stay tuned for a look at Disney's Strange World in theaters November 23rd. Schwarber with a blast, and it's 1-0 in the 6th. Legendary swing from Yordan Alvarez, and then insurance and a base hit from Christian Vasquez. 4-1 Astros to the bottom of the 7th for an organization looking for its second championship. Sports Illustrated famously predicted in 2014 that they would win it in 17. And they did. They've been 3 times since, looking for their first title since that 2017 season. 5 players remain from that 2017 team. 3 position players as they look for their second title and their first one since. Down to the field, here's Ken Rosenthal.
Well, guys, a World Series title here would not vindicate the franchise. It wouldn't validate what happened in 2017 and 18. The illegal electronic sign stealing for which the Astros were fined $5 million, stripped of their first and second round draft picks in 2020 and 21. There are some of the same players who remain, but this is a different team. Some of the heroes tonight, much different. Pena, Alvarez, Valdez. A different manager, Dusty Baker. A different general manager, James Click. And we are playing under different rules, stricter rules regarding electronic sign stealing. These Astros should be celebrated for who they are.
They lead 4-1, bottom of the 7th inning. Chas McCormick leads off against Zach Eflin. That's fouled off.
I'm good. It got me back here.
And one of the guys remaining from that 2017, Lance McCullers, when the cheating scandal was revealed, he said, "We knew the one thing we could do was win, and we could win a lot. We understand people still aren't going to like us. We knew if we kept winning, you'd at least have to start to respect us." And a 6th consecutive trip to the championship series this year, a 4th World Series trip in 6 years, and as Kenny touched on, the GM has changed, the manager's changed, the roster is almost entirely changed, but the winning hasn't. And now the Astros are on the verge of an undeniable title. A 1-2 to McCormick in the dirt, 2-2. Still have 6 outs to get, and Dusty Baker's been in this spot before, leading late. Leading the series 3-2 in Game 6. Back to 2002, we're touching on when he was with the Giants against the Angels.
Well, if you're going to do something improbable like the Phillies have done in this season to get to this point, you might as well continue that theme and do the improbable against a bullpen that has not given up anything. So Philadelphia counted out June 3rd. Start of the postseason counted out. World Series.
They've defied logic over and over. Swing and a miss from McCormick. 1 gone in the 7th. And now a quick word from Capital One.
Capital One is the official bank and credit card partner of Major League Baseball. What's in your wallet?
Martin Maldonado, one of those footnotes to the big 6th inning. He started it by getting right on top of the plate and getting hit by a pitch. Strike 1 from Eflin. And Maldonado, even though he's one of the worst offensive players statistically in baseball, Astros would tell you he's one of the most valuable guys on the team with his defense and with the way that he handles the staff. One of the guys said if we could quantify preparation and leadership, this guy would lead the league. And you add in the little wrinkles that he can provide you offensively like he did last inning. And he's moved back to a normal spot in the box here. It's 1-2. On the left is his at-bat in the 3rd. On the right, when he got hit in the 6th.
And that's well within the game. I mean, you just don't see batters switch anything. You don't see batters take away sinkers, get up in the box. You don't see anybody move.
He hits one in the air to left field, but hooked it off the end of the barrel. Kyle Schwarber runs under it, 2 away.
And for that, I give him a ton of credit. I mean, it may not look pretty. It might look to some people like, that's not baseball. It actually is in this moment to do something different when you can't. You may be a little bit an underdog when it comes to hitting against, let's say, Wheeler. And it proved to be the inning.
Altuve reached on a fielder's choice in that inning. 0 for 3 with a couple Ks. Astros trying to win a World Series without getting an RBI from Altuve in the postseason.
But I just find this so amazing that we set up this series in a way where Alvarado, the third hitter, has been the target by the Phillies bullpen, but it's been Pena that has made that target harder to be successful, because every time they came in to face Alvarado, Pena had done something special. And even though Alvarado was 1-4 in those situations, it's a pretty good one.
Two balls and one strike. Well, the Phillies will hope to capitalize on a similar thing. They're going to see Brian Abreu likely. It'll be the fourth time that they see him. And then you've got Ryan Presley, who the Astros would have for the ninth inning. They've seen him 5 times. Beg your pardon, 4 times they've seen Presley. This would be the 5th. Eflin home with a 2-2. Altuve waits on it, yanks it to the left field corner. That's down. Altuve on his way to second with a 2-out double as Schwarber digs it out. They're now tied for 4th all-time with his 103rd postseason hit.
Well, he got a hanger right in the middle of the plate, hooked it down the line. I think he was content to get a single, and then this allowed him to get to second.
And now Jeremy Pena continued his MVP case. 2 more hits in this game. Two-seam for a strike. Who's got your vote? If this holds up right now, is it him or is it Framber Valdez?
I mean, he's gotten a hit in every series.
Or is it Yordan Alvarez, I guess? I mean,
no, it's between those two. It's between Valdez and Pena, and I would lean towards Pena as much as I'm a pitcher at heart.
He's hitting .417 in this World Series. 1 ALCS MVP. Tries to become the first rookie position player to win World Series MVP. 2 rookie winners have been pitchers. Larry Sherry for the Dodgers in 1959, and then Livan Hernandez for the Marlins in '97.
It really is a tough call, because you got a starting pitcher that just gave up 2 runs in 2 outings to a really, really good offense, and then you got this guy playing every day and doing everything. So I'm going Pena.
All right. 0-2 to him. Chased a breaking ball, and that finishes off the 7th. Phillies have 6 outs with which to work. Down 4-1, down 3-2 in the series. Abreu coming in. Total bases each day during the postseason. Compete to win $50 grand. Enter MLB Base Chase in the MLB Play app or through MLB.com/play. Restrictions apply. See official rules for details. 8th inning, 4-1 Astros. They lead the series 3-2. They lead the game by 3. Brian Abreu's on, and Bryson Stott will pinch hit for Matt Vierling. Strike 1.
You know, they talk about, in NASCAR, how much horsepower your car has. You know what the Astros have in the bullpen? A ton of horsepower. A 98-mile-an-hour fastball and a slider that's virtually unhittable out of Abreu.
Caught at third by a drawn-in Bregman. They put 98 and played it, Stott, but Bregman quick hands as the hot corner proves to be exactly that.
I mean, this is the hot corner. It didn't come off quite as hard, but still, when you're in, you got to have good reaction. An out's an out. Now there's only 5 left for Philly.
Another pinch hitter here with the righty on the mound. Here is Brandon Marsh, trying to get some traffic ahead of the top of the order. The Phillies, since hitting 5 home runs in Game 3, have scored just 3 runs on 9 hits since. They are 9 for their last 93. On an 0-1, Marsh takes away 1 ball 1 strike. And here sits Dusty Baker again. That close. 5 outs away for Dusty.
That's out.
2-1.
I mean, every club's looking for a guy like this, right? I mean, they want a bullpen full of them, and there's so many great arms in the game today. Houston just happens to have a lot of them.
Abreu's 2-1 is hit in the air to deep right center field, but Tucker settles under it, and Marsh is out number 2 in the 8th. A quick word from Evan Williams Bourbon.
Postseason calls for award-winning bourbon. Evan Williams, 1783 small batch.
And Brian Abreu didn't even start playing baseball until he was 14. He was a basketball player. He had very little time for sports anyways, because from the time he was 11 or 12, he was working 2 jobs to help his family out. He was working in construction. He was working with his uncle, who was a mechanic. And when he played baseball, he was a hitter and an outfielder, and then somebody said, why don't you give pitching a try? Changed his life. Here he is in the 8th inning of what he and the Astros hope is the clinching game. Kyle Schwarber. Strike 1. Wicked rip at a wicked pitch.
Well, Schwarber, Joe, you started this postseason. He couldn't look more lost. But boy, he found it in the right time, and he found it and got back locked in to being the most dangerous left-handed hitter to lead off a game with power. Not exactly a speedster.
Yeah, kind of guy that makes you uncomfortable right away as that starting pitcher. Started the postseason 1 for 20. 6 home runs in 11 games since then. But in a 1-2 hole here. Shows butt with 2 strikes, pops it up, back, and strike 3. And the Houston Astros are 3 outs away from their 2nd World Championship. Dusty Baker, who originally signed with the Atlanta Braves out of high school, broke in the majors, bat behind Hank Aaron, got traded to the Dodgers, where he won a championship as a player in '81. He's managed 5 franchises. He's taken them all to the postseason. More than 1,800 hits, more than 2,000 wins. The only other guy that can say that, Joe Torre. The only thing missing, a ring as a manager. And here in his 25th year, 2,093 wins under his belt, the most of any manager without a world championship. Finds himself, and his Astros find themselves, 3 outs away. David Robertson on to handle the bottom of the 8th. Ball on Yordan Alvarez, who at this point has the swing that they'll always talk about in this Game 6 if this score holds. Bryson Stott stays in the game and plays short. Brandon Marsh into the game in center. 1-2 on Alvarez.
3-run homer in the bottom of the 9th, 2 outs. That's a dream. That was game 1. 2-run homer off of Luis Castillo. That was in game 2. In between there, it was some rough go. There wasn't some locked in. You'd think he'd be locked in. Some days off take you away from your rhythm. In game 6, third big swing of the series.
Down swinging here, and they ain't going to remember those strikeouts and the 5 for 42 in the middle of the big swings. They remember the big moments, the moments that last. And he's got a few of them. So for the Phillies in the 9th inning, they'll have 2, 3, and 4 coming up against Presley. Astros looking to add on a little bit here with the heart of their lineup. Alex Bregman spins this one back foul. Now, Dusty, we were talking about this earlier, has friends all over the world pulling for him. It's really not hyperbole to say that. 54 years in the game. That's 54 years of teammates and foes and all those players that played for him. Outside the game, it's a list of who's who. I mean, he's friends with Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg. Friends with Joe Namath and Rob Lowe. He once partied with Jimi Hendrix. And he's surely got friends up in heaven looking down, pulling for him too. Everybody from Satchel Paige to Hank Aaron to Tommy Lasorda. Oh, 2. Ball 1. And no bigger fans up there watching than his parents. Dusty said before the game today, when he does let himself reflect on this whole thing, if it does get to this moment where he's able to get what he's always wanted, that's who he's going to think about first, his parents, including his mom, Christine, who passed away in January. 2-2 on Alex Bregman. So he'll think of them. Countless people are thinking of him. Robertson's 2-2. Full count on Bregman.
Well, we said the Astros 1 through 5 had to do most of the damage. They did it again.
Yep, 4 runs that scored. Top 4 in the lineup. Another 3-2. It is a curve, and it's hooked into left field. A base hit for Bregman. Schwarber grabs it. Bregman on his way to second. Schwarber's throw. Not in time, and a double for Alex Bregman.
Well, when we see this replay, I think it's going to be an incredible slide by Bregman. And Schwarber made a nice play and a throw to get on the right side of the bag, which made Segura have to swing around and put what looked like an easy tag of an out. But watch him pull that outside hand to the outside part of the bag. Ooh. Ow. That's going to probably...
Ow and out.
But look at that. This is the sweep tag across the bag. And that gets his finger. You want to talk about a game of inches.
Whew. What a shot. What a crew we're lucky enough to have with Fox Sports.
And what flexibility he's lucky to have on that finger. Ay, ay, ay.
Oh. Playing the waiting is the hardest part. That means more than one thing at this point. The call here And the celebration, I hope he's coming shortly.
So what, that finger's got him stinging right now.
Well, he's got like 5 months to rest it, if they can hang on here. Shane Segura saying, I got it. Never in doubt.
So that finger's going to swell.
Gene's an expert. Broke his finger earlier this year. Pass on some advice to Alex how to heal it fast. This is obviously a big call here. They're going to be sure that they're going to get it right. After Bregman, it's Tucker. Astros got 4 runs in the 6th. Trying to add on here in the 8th, and here's your call.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out. Philadelphia will retain their last challenge.
So as the Phillies come up in the 9th inning looking for a miracle rally, keep that one in mind as they face Ryan Presley. Well, tomorrow you've got a chance to win $100 grand of Terry Bradshaw's money on Fox Bet Super 6. Just get the free Super 6 app on your phone now and enter your 6 picks in the NFL Sunday Challenge contest. 2 out, and here's Tucker. One ball, no strikes. Timelessly cool, that man. 73 years old, Dusty Baker. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tucker. And his closer, Ryan Presley. 5-out save in Game 5. Off day yesterday, came at a good time following that. Ready for his chance to lock this one down. Looking for his first ring. Shot foul 1 and 2.
Oh my.
Look out over there, huh?
Took it out of the glove.
Put it in the dugout. Astros trying to do something that's not been done in almost a decade. That is clinch at home. Last team to clinch at home, the Red Sox. In 2013, it was 9 years ago last time it happened. Tucker pops it into center field. Schwarber will make the call and the catch. Fasten those seatbelts. To the 9th inning we go in Game 6. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Phillies. Ryan Presley coming on with the Astros 3 outs away. Ryan Presley, who got a 5-out save in Game 5, is on there for the 9th inning. Astros 3 outs away from a world championship. And this guy has been dynamite.
Yeah, he has, and it's really because of his breaking balls, and they just don't hit it. In the year, it's only 138. It got even better in the postseason, 111.
Having trouble with the pitch comp here, the device in his hat that lets him hear the signs from Martin Maldonado. Not often that happens in your home stadium, but it's not often you pitch in your home stadium with a chance to win the World Series. As they get this figured out, reminds you that the World Baseball Classic is back, an exclusive on Fox, all beginning March 2023. Go to worldbaseballclassic.com for more information. That man there is going to play for Team USA. He's going to bat 3rd in this 9th inning. It's Hoskins, Realmuto, and Harper against Presley.
Well, to state an obvious, every closer knows, no matter what the situation is, get the first hitter out.
Hoskins, who is 0 for his last 13. Swings and misses. Strike 1.
You grind hard no matter what the circumstances are. Obviously, if it's just a 1-run game, it's one swing can tie the game, but he has 3 runs to work with. But you don't want that leadoff guy to get on.
A little bit outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Presley came over at the deadline in 2018, so he's looking for his first ring. So many of these Astros are. Presley's 1-1 pitch. Bounce foul, and it's 1-2.
Again, if you haven't seen Presley throw much, he doesn't throw anything straight. Everything cuts. He has tremendous spin on his pitches. So a cutter that is going to be his version of a fastball, and then he throws a knuckle curve that is so fast that it breaks so quickly the hitter has really little time to recognize it.
Hoskins starting the 9th. Pops it up. Tucker. Astros 2 outs away.
You know what, we talk all the time, and you've mentioned what this would mean to the players, what this would mean to Dusty Baker. You know who we forget that it means the most to, probably? The fans. The home fans here that get a chance to get one without any asterisks.
Fans deserve it. Town deserves it. 4-1 in the 9th inning. Bases empty, 1 gone. JT Realmuto lines the ball into center field, and the Phillies have hope. Realmuto with the first hit since Schwarber's home run in the 6th.
And that's why getting the first hitters out is so huge, because now with a runner on, you're always 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning for the double play. And you also know that this man can't tie it up. When you're a closer, you don't care about your sexy stats. You just care about walking in to end the game before they tie it up.
And you look back to that insurance run brought in by Christian Vasquez with a 2-out base hit. Looming large now instead of Harper representing the tying run. Tying run in the on-deck circle in the form of Nick Castellanos. Harper is 0 for 3 here in Game 6. He slices a pop into left. Yordan Alvarez. The Astros are 1 out away. They won their first World Series in their 56th year in 2017. They got back in 2019. They won 107 games that year. They led the World Series 3-2 and then fell short. Last year they got there again. They were favored again and fell to the Braves. Another shot and an out away.
And a lot of cell phones out to capture the moment.
Castellanos. There goes the runner. Fly ball down the right field line. Tucker comes on. Kyle Tucker. This time they finish the job. The Houston Astros, world champions. Dusty Baker has his ring in his 25th year as a manager. Guy that brought credibility and stability back to the Astros in the wake of the scandal. Guy that's been in baseball for more than 50 years. He's a baseball legend. He's a beautiful human being. And he has the ring that everybody wanted him to get.
You know, you're through the Astros and that core 5 players we're talking about as you watch this replay. Everything comes full circle right here. And you feel like you're stuck in quicksand with so much over your head, so much explaining, and it carries over for a long time. Well, you know what? They got out of it. And Dusty Baker got out of his. And what a moment for Houston, and what a moment for the city.
You know, Dusty Baker was a finalist for the Phillies job when they hired Joe Girardi in 2020, and he was crushed when he didn't get it. And he goes back home to California, and he talks with his son, Darren. And Darren says, Dad, maybe you weren't supposed to get that job. Maybe you got to be patient to go where you're meant to be. A week later, the phone rang. It was the Houston Astros. The right man at the right time for the right team. And now world champion as a manager for the first time as the Astros beat the Phillies in 6 games in 2022. Down to that party. Here's Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Jose, you were on third base when Jordan hit that 3-run homer. What did you think when you saw that ball travel 450 feet?
You know, obviously I knew as soon as he hit that one, it was a big, big fly. First time I see that in this ballpark. But, you know, I just was happy because I know how good our guys are in the bullpen. And, you know, by that time, I thought 3-1 would be a good lead for us to give us a chance to win the game. But then Christian came up behind him and get the big, the 4th run. And, you know, like I said, we're just happy we won.
Dusty Baker, what has he meant to this team, Jose?
You know, he means everything. Like I said many, many times, he came here at the right time and, you know, came here in the right team and won his first World Series.
Jose, congratulations. Thank you. Now over to Tom Verducci.
Thanks, Ken. Martin Maldonado, whenever they talk about the 2022 Astros, they'll talk about the rally that began with you. Tell me about your approach with Wheeler, against Wheeler, leading off the inning, and how you moved up closer to home plate and why.
You know, he was running that sinker in really good. Throughout the game, we were chasing sinkers in. So I know right there I got to get on base. You know, my job leading off, got to get on base. So I said, let me get closer as close as I can. Don't move. Hopefully hit you.
Martin, every game in this series, your pitchers struck out at least 10 batters, 12 more today. Describe the job that this entire pitching staff did to win the World Series.
You know, this pitching staff been amazing all year. The bullpen, our bullpen been really, really good. You know, Framberg battled too on first couple of innings, but he settled down. You know, we believe in each other. They trust me, I trust them, and you know, I'm just super excited for the moment.
Martin, thanks so much. Congratulations. Go enjoy it.
Thank you.
Back to you, Joe.
Well, the Astros do it. That cautionary tale of 2019, they came back home with a 3-2 lead. They sealed the deal. They don't mess around. They don't let it get to a game 7. With a 6th inning where they score 4 runs right after Kyle Schwarber put the Phillies in front and inspired hope in Philadelphia that this could get to a 7th game. But they had the response immediately in support of Framber Valdez and in support of Dusty Baker. A champion for the first time. Back down to Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Jordan Alvarez, that was the 4th time this series you faced Alvarado. How much of a difference did that make?
Esta fue la 4ª vez en esta serie que te enfrentaste a Alvarado. ¿Qué tanto de diferencia hizo eso?
No, creo que siempre que enfrentaba a él estaba un poco ansioso, ¿no? Sabiendo que tiene un gran sinker. Esta vez lo que hice fue calmarme, elegir un buen lanzamiento y eso fue lo que me ayudó a conectar el batazo.
Yeah, I think every single time I went up there a little bit anxious. Obviously, we know he has a great sinker. This time what I did, I just tried to stay a little bit calm, select a good pitch to swing at, and that's what I did.
Going around the bases, what was the feeling like?
Cuando estaba dando la vuelta a la base, ¿qué se sentía?
Increíble. Una vez que pisé la segunda base, pensé que el estadio se estaba moviendo y creo que era la emoción de la gente.
Yeah, amazing. When I was running second base, I felt the whole stadium moving. I think it was just all the fans.
Your parents were here tonight. How much does it mean to you, Jordan, that they were able to see this?
Mis padres estaban aquí hoy. ¿Qué tanto significa para ti que ellos pudieron ver esto?
No, mucho, mucho. Obviamente no estaba teniendo una buena serie mundial y la fe que ellos siempre me brindaron, que confiara, tuviera confianza, las cosas iban a salir bien y salieron.
Yeah, great. Obviously, I wasn't having a great series, but they always put all their faith in me, and thankfully, we were able to do this.
Jordan, congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you. Joe, back to you.
Kenny, this has already been a special run for him because for the first time he's been able to share it with his parents, who until this August couldn't get to the United States from Cuba. Got here in August. They've been here since. They just watched their son win a World Series and play a central role in doing so with a legendary home run, still sailing over the batter's eye. That ball is going to keep sailing forever. Coming up, we've got the Willie Mays World Series Most Valuable Player Award presented by Chevrolet. In this game 6, coming in the 6th, the Astros 4, the Phillies 1, the final in the decisive game of the World Series. And the Astros are champions for the second time in franchise history, for the first time since 2017. We welcome you back in. Thanks for being with us for this World Series. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, and so many memorable moments to this fall classic.
Really, I can't think of storylines that were as great as they were here. Philadelphia, what an incredible journey. And then, of course, Houston gets to cap it off with all that they've been through. This really was a great World Series, and Dusty Baker got his.
Yeah, in his 25th year as a manager, Dusty Baker gets a ring for the first time. We're going to go down to the field. Kevin Burkhardt, take it away.
Here with Commissioner Rob Manfred. Minute Maid Park, can you hear me? Try one more time. Minute Maid Park, can you hear us? There we go. Well, how about a little louder for your World Series champion, Houston Astros? All right, let's hand out the trophy, right? We got the owner, Jim Crane of the Astros, James Click, the general manager. The manager, Dusty Baker, is here. And here we go, Commissioner.
The Houston Astros had a great regular season, just completed an incredible postseason run. They gave the fans here in Houston the very best that baseball has to offer. It's now my honor and pleasure to give the Commissioner's Trophy to Jim Crane, the owner of the 2022 World Series champion, Houston Astros.
Jim, congratulations, and how sweet does the second one feel?
Well, it's great, but Houston, we did it again. Without you, we're not here.
Congratulations, Jim.
Thank you. Just a couple quick words. Great fans, great ops team, James' group, Dusty's group, all the great players, and from the bottom job in this stadium to the top, everyone contributed. We love you all.
James, come on over. As the architect of this whole unit, what is the most gratifying thing for you to see it come to this?
Just to be on the stage with this team, with Dusty, with Jim, with all the players, to be in front of our fans here in Houston. Thank you. You did this. Thank you.
Congratulations. Well, let's see. This morning, Dusty Baker had managed the most games ever without a World Series title. Not anymore.
Not anymore. Now they quit talking about it.
Has it hit you yet? You got mobbed in the dugout after it was over. You had to hold on to the fence so you didn't topple over.
Yeah.
Has it hit you yet, Dusty?
Oh, it hit me all right. it hit me as soon as that ball, Jordan hit over the moon out there. That's when it hit me.
What has been the most enjoyable thing about this whole run for you?
Well, now that hadn't sunk in yet, to tell you the truth. But, you know, how about them Astros? Hey, this is the greatest bunch of guys. They told me in spring training that they were going to win it. Now, what's next? Party.
Dusty, enjoy it. Dusty Baker.
Well, man, thank you.
All right, we have one more trophy to hand out, the Willie Mays Most Valuable Player presented by Chevrolet. Can we have Jeremy Pena? Right here. That's all yours. What is it like to win the World Series?
I mean, this is what we dream about. Houston, we love y'all. Let's go.
Jeremy, you're the second rookie ever to win MVP of the LCS and of the World Series. How did you do it?
I mean, shout out to these guys. You know, these guys kept me within myself. You know, their preparation every single day. And individual awards are cool and all, but that's the trophy we want right there. Put the camera on that right there. Let's go. Un saludo para mi gente latina. Lo queremos,
güey. What was your reaction? You were right in the middle of the rally when, as Dusty said, Jordan put that ball on the moon. What was your reaction right off the bat?
I mean, our job was to get on base, pass it off to the next guy, and, you know, Jordan's been doing it all year, so, you know, always trust the big man. You know, that was impressive. Gold Glove, ALCS MVP, World Series MVP, Jeremy Pena. Congrats. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your World Series champion, Houston Astros. Joe, let's go back to you.
All right, KB and Jeremy Pena, the first rookie position player ever to win World Series MVP. After he wins American League Championship Series MVP, every step of the way, this guy answered questions. He hit 400 in this World Series and a very deserving winner.
Yeah, it's an incredible feeling to be this young and to have the rest of your career be marked by 2 MVP. The sky's the limit for this young man. What a year, what a season.
Astros are world champs. Dusty Baker's a world champ. And we've got plenty more coverage coming up from Houston. Kevin Burkhardt and the boys recap Game 6. And these 6 games, Astros over the Phillies in 2022.